I'm not at home. I'm currently at my husband's job and I am recording here because I'm a procrastinator. I said I was gonna upload today on the 27th, which is my first year here in Mexico, and I haven't. I haven't recorded anything. And so my plan was to record at home, but my husband and I were out and it got late and he had to come back. His lunch hour was over, had to come back to work and couldn't take me home. So I am stuck here in his office recording while he's in a meeting somewhere. So yeah, guys, it's my 1 year here. I arrived to Mexico at 12:30 p.m. a year ago today. So it's very, very bittersweet. Yeah, let's just talk about it. So a year ago, I'm gonna try not to get emotional, but it has been officially a year since the last time I saw almost anyone from home, with the exception of my niece and my sister-in-law who were here last summer. It'll be in July, it'll be a year since I saw them. But today was officially a year since the last time I saw some of my siblings, my mom, most of my nieces and nephews and cousins, and some of my aunts, and all of my friends. The reason I didn't record yesterday is because I was crying all day, because I don't know, I just thought about a year ago today. I wanted my last meal in the US to be from Waffle House. So my flight wasn't until like 8 or 9, but my mom, my sister and I, my mom and my sister are the ones that took me to the airport, and I made them get up extra early so we can go to Waffle House, and I had my last meal there. Then they took me to the airport, and you know, I gave them the last hug I have given them this far. I really hope that that wasn't the last hug, and I have hopes that one day I'll be able to see them again, whether it's me getting a visa to go visit or them being able to come here, because we know that it's not just about being a resident or a citizen, it's also about money. People just don't have the money, the funds to come to Mexico whenever they want. So yeah. They are the two strongest people I know, the two strongest women I know. We promised each other we wouldn't cry. I'm a crybaby. I cry for everything. I'm constantly crying, which is bad because my poor husband has to suffer with me crying and complaining that I miss my mommy like a 6-year-old. But anyways, my sister didn't cry. I don't remember. I don't think she did. Well, I think at the end all three of us got teary-eyed, but we didn't really let any like tears come out. But I gave my mom a hug. You know, we checked in and we walked to like the very last TSA line, like the furthest one in the airport, just, I don't know, to talk a little more, I guess, to spend a little more time, whatever reason. We walked down there, and once we got there, I gave my sister a hug goodbye, I gave my mom a hug goodbye, and my mom, she's amazing. She was like, I'm not gonna cry because it's not goodbye. She's like, en mi mente te vas de viaje y vas a regresar pronto. In my mind, you're going on a trip and you're gonna be back soon. Which made me smile because, you know, we both knew that we don't know when the next time we're gonna see each other face to face, you know, in person. Because I mean, I FaceTime her almost every day. I think I know her by the times I FaceTime her. From there, so yes, I'm telling you guys about my trip in case you haven't noticed. From there, you know, I went through TSA and I went to my gate, and it was pretty funny because when I got to my gate, it's like all these Hispanic people. Like the airport is like mostly, you know, Americans, white people, black people. There's just there and a couple international people. It's not a huge airport, but anyways, when I get to my gate, like there's like a section of seats and it's just men, like all these Mexican men coming back to Mexico from working. I'm guessing they had like a work visa for a certain amount of months and they were all going back. So that was one. And then in the next section, it was a bunch of kids. They were with parents at the moment, but they all had like the little wristband that says that they're going to be unaccompanied minors flying to Mexico. So yeah, there was very other females on there. It was a bunch of kids and men. And then I was listening to them. They were giving specific instructions for the unaccompanied minors, and for the men, they had to like show their visas, and I don't remember exactly, but they had like different instructions. And then the rest of us can get on the airplane. And once I got to Mexico City, because I flew to Mexico City because it was cheaper. And by the way, all I needed was my passport. Like I had all my documents and stuff. I brought all my immigration papers with me, like all my DACA stuff. I had everything with me in my backpack, but the only identification I showed to fly was my Mexican passport. And then once we landed in the airport, wow, you just ruined my video. Do you need your computer?
No.
Okay. Once we landed at the airport, they told us to go through customs. You know, they're like foreigners, you have to go to one line, and then Mexican citizens, you go to another line. And they were like, by the way, baggage claim is gonna be, and I don't know, I forgot, but they said the number of the baggage claim, right? And then we get there, and then I'm obviously a Mexican citizen, so I go there, and she stamped my passport, which I'm not sure why, because, you know, U.S. citizens, when you fly from another country back to the U.S., your passport doesn't get stamped because that's your home country. So I'm not quite sure why she did that to me. But anyways, I went there, and then I went to the baggage claim area, and it was a mess. Like, oh, such a mess. Like, everyone kept on asking. Then I asked, and they were like, oh, plane from North Carolina, oh, it's in such and such claim. And then I go, and they were like, oh no, it got switched to another claim. So I was lost for a minute, but eventually I got it. And then I was supposed to meet my aunt, one of my aunts. And mind you, I had never met this lady. I had never met my aunt in my entire life, because obviously she's lived in Mexico. I lived in the United States for 21 years. And so from I flew to Mexico City, and then I had like a 5-hour wait, and then I was gonna fly to San Luis Potosí. But my mom didn't want me to be like 5 hours in the airport by myself, and honestly, I didn't either. So she called my aunt. Well, we got in contact with my aunt, and we asked her if she wanted to hang out with me in the airport, and you know, bless her heart, she said yeah. She's such a sweet soul, and she went. And so I'm walking through. I'm lost, by the way. I don't know which way is like to go outside the baggage claim area, because there's like 3 different doors that lead different ways. And so, and maybe I'm just dumb and I didn't know where it was. And so I'm like walking towards there, and I was like, what does this lady look like? Like, I've seen her in pictures, but you know, it's kind of rare for someone to actually look like what they look in pictures in real life. So I was like, what if she doesn't look like the picture? Like, who am I looking for? So I had a little panicky moment, but then she yelled my name, and I found her, and she invited me out to eat, and we exchanged my few, like my last US dollars that I had into pesos. And yeah, it was, we just talked. I got to know her a little bit, and then from there I went from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2, which is national flights. And then from there it was a mess also, because the flights, like the gates kept on changing for different flights, and I kept on going back and forth, and then my phone was about to die, and none of the freaking outlets worked. So I was freaking out, and I was upset. Anyway, sorry. And eventually, you know, I got on the plane, and it was a really, really small plane. Like, the seats were tiny. I'm a big girl. Like, the seats were tiny. And then, yeah, around this time, which is currently as I'm filming, it's like 5:30ish, and that's around the time I arrived to San Luis Potosí. It was very, very bittersweet. And now I'm here. I also wanted to cover cultural differences. I don't have my computer with me, so I can't read the actual questions, but off the top of my head, I'll give you some cultural differences that I've witnessed so far, because I've told you guys my adjustment, how I'm doing. Right now, I've been kind of down a little bit because I don't have enough, like, as many students right now. I've only had one in the past like 2-3 weeks, because most of my students they were testing, and their moms are like, oh, let's give them a break from English classes and whatnot. So I'm kind of down and upset about it because I have more time on my hands and I don't know what to do with it, and that stresses me out. It bums me out because I feel like I have nothing to do, like I have no purpose. So these past few weeks I've been just struggling with that. But yeah, cultural differences. One thing I wanted to mention, I think one of the questions was about language. My Spanish is okay, but granted, I am a Spanish major, so I was forced to read and write a lot of Spanish. So shout out to my Spanish professors, because that improved my Spanish a lot, but it's still not perfect. Every now and then, like, I'll be talking with someone, like one of my husband's coworkers or whatever, and I'll say something funny and they'll laugh, but then I'll be like, no, but like, correct me. And then they'll correct me, and then I learn from that. My husband, bless his heart, he took Spanish classes when he got here because his Spanish was terrible. It's still not like good, but it's okay. It's passable now. Even his coworkers, they're like, yeah, no, he's learned a lot more Spanish now. And so, yeah, it's just practice your Spanish, because cultural difference, like, people can pick up right away. Like, I think I've mentioned it before. If I get on an Uber, or if I'm just talking with someone at the bus stop, because apparently that's what I do, that's how I make friends. They'll hear me talking, the first thing they'll say is like, you're not from here. No. And then I explained that I was born here, but then grew up in the US, and now I'm back. There's this friend of my husband's who has a cocina económica, which is kind of like a restaurant, but it's more like just a to-go restaurant. You don't really sit there and eat. It's just you go, you buy food, and then you go home. So it's just a to-go restaurant. He had actually never heard me speak Spanish because he speaks pretty decent English, and so obviously because he doesn't really have anyone to talk to in English every time we go, which hasn't been very often, but whenever we do go to the cocina económica to buy food because we're lazy and don't feel like cooking, we'll talk to him in English. And we ran into him at the store one time, and it was the very first time he heard me speak Spanish. And he was like, whoa, your Spanish is cool. Because I don't have I have a weird accent when I talk in Spanish. They tell me that it doesn't sound 100% like an American accent, but it's an accent. Like, you can tell I'm not from here. The other thing that I think I remember from the cultural differences was food. Someone asked me about the tacos. They were like, are the tacos better in the motherland? Yeah, obviously. But you have to know where to go, because some taco places suck, like, so bad. For me personally, don't hate me if you're from San Luis Potosí, but the food here is not as good as in other states. Like, I loved the food in Oaxaca and Puebla and obviously Mexico City. Like, they just have so much more food and so much more things to experience. Here in San Luis, like, the big thing is enchiladas potosinas. For me, that I'm not a big enchilada fan, like, they're all right, they're good. You have to know where to get them, because if you go to any restaurant, they're not gonna be good. You have to know, like, the good places to get them. Cultural differences, obviously I don't live like in a big city like Mexico City or Puebla, so one of the things that I miss from home is from the US, from North Carolina, is having like different foods from different like cultures. Like I miss pupusas, I miss pollo con tajadas, I miss baleadas, I miss southern food. And yeah, I can make it here, but it's not the same. Like it doesn't taste the same. Like products that I need to make these foods are different from back in the US. So the end result is gonna be different. So it's just food, yes, it's delicious. We have bomb food, but I do miss the variety from home. Our cultural differences, it's gonna sound weird, but my husband and I were talking about it the other day, how here in Mexico, like everyone's Mexican. Like, you know, back in the US, you see most of like the gardeners, like a lot of janitors, like housekeeping, they're Hispanic, right? Here, everyone is Mexican, which is kind of weird. I don't know if I make sense or not. Back in December, we had a very weird experience where we were in Tlaxcala, and there's this place called Valquirico, which is like a little town-ish place designed off of houses in Italy, off of Italian houses and structures. There you go, structures. And like all the people that were visiting there were like light skin. Like they weren't necessarily like white Americans, but they were like white Mexicans or like light skinned foreigners from like Europe or South America. And all the workers that were like tending the gardens and like working at the restaurants that and the little shops that were there, they were all like darker Mexicans. And it threw us off so bad. Like I felt weird. I felt like I was back in the States because it was this like classification, this colorism that you can vividly see. And while here living in like the rest of Mexico, you don't see that, you know. You do, but not as often. It's weird to me how white Mexicans can be. Like I'm brown, I'm pretty brown, especially if I'm out in the sun, I'll get darker. And that's the people that you usually see in the US, because there's this like separation between lighter skinned Mexicans and darker skinned Mexicans. And the ones that you see more in the streets or riding motorcycles or, you know, just working in labor jobs, it's darker skinned Mexicans. Working like with schools and, you know, the school my husband works in and stuff, we work with like the lighter skin, like the lighter side. Like it's weird to describe because you can visually see the difference. Like if you're in one part of town, you see how they live, you know, this group of people live a certain way, and most of them are fair skinned. And then you drive like to the other side of town and it's the darker skinned people, and it's, you know, even the infrastructure, the structure of buildings, like it's all like worn down, like it's completely different. So there's a lot of people that say, oh no, there's no racism in Mexico. Like it exists, racism, colorism, like that's one thing that I have noticed a lot of. If anyone reads my post, I made a post about fucking tattoos. That was the title of it, fucking tattoos. Like right now, if y'all see, I'm wearing long sleeves. It is hot. Why am I wearing long sleeves? Because we're on that side of town that is more conservative, it's more higher end, it's more certain type of people, and I have to pretend like I don't have tattoos because tattoos are frowned upon. One of the cultural things that I highly dislike when I'm in the part of town where I live, in the poorer side, it doesn't matter, you know, I can flaunt them, show them around, who cares? But here, if because I'm recording here, that's why I keep looking everywhere to make sure no one walks in, I have to hide them. I have to pretend like they're not there. And it sucks. It's one of the things that brings me down the most, because they have special meanings to me. Like, they represent something very personal to me, and that's why I got them, because they're very special, and I have to hide them when I'm around certain people or certain areas of town. So that's my little rant on culture and differences that I've seen, and things that I like and things that I hate. I love the food, hate the variety. Like, it's very difficult to find, you know, food from other countries here. And the ones that you do, it's usually sushi, because people from here love sushi apparently in San Luis. And Italian food, but Italian that really isn't Italian. It's more just like pizzas. So food wise, it has its ups and downs. Language wise, yeah, people can recognize that I'm not from here, but for the most part, I get compliments that I have pretty good Spanish from living in the US for so long. Yeah, that's my rant for today. That's my video for today. I don't have regrets. I still get asked that a lot. It seems very surreal. It seems like this year has gone very, very fast. Yeah, I honestly can't believe that today is a year since I moved here. It's crazy. That's all I have for today. I kind of just ranted. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you don't follow me on Instagram, please do. I tend to post on my story on Instagram a lot, especially if I'm on the bus and stuff. I tend to take pictures or record anything and just post it on there. If I go to a festival or something, it's just quick and easy to show it to you guys. So follow me on Instagram. It will be in the description. If you already follow me, thank you. I also started writing a blog. Just random thoughts some days, you know, about teaching, about tattoos, about PCOS, which is something that I have. Just about my life, basically. Just, I talk about how I feel like I'm a kid playing an adult. So go check it out if you ever feel like reading about me, and if you don't, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I don't make any money off of anything. It's just for fun and to express myself and give me something to do, because I am bored a lot and I don't like not having things to do. Anyways, that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Please share my videos with anyone you think they might help. If you guys have any questions, please comment them. Go follow my Instagram. That's it. Bye.